Hey guys, this time on Deep Junk, we're going to be working on a 55 Chevrolet Bel Air. This is the second one that I've built. The first one, with the start of the channel over a year ago, I worked on one, but that one went to an auction for charity. It went on to better things, so I'm going to take another swing at one, and we'll get this one apart. I see the same casting lines and stuff in the body, so I don't think it's going to be any big surprises. Well, let's get at it. 55 Chevy broken down into parts is plastic base, ladder bar rear end, got a little engine like the back of the oil pan, some transmission detail, the interior tub, grill and rear bumper in that copper. We've got the blown Chevrolet, not a whole lot of details, so we're going to cut that out. Engine, excuse me, for it. The body, typical of all the 55 Chevys, big casting line across the back, got them over the front fenders. So nothing, I don't believe it's going to be a big surprise there. And our tinted glass, a light blue, so no big deal. That'll go with pretty much anything. You don't really see the blue tint when it's in the car anyway. So we'll throw it in some stripper and see what it tells us. Already a 55 Chevy without paint. We've got some high spots on the fenders, the casting lines over the front fenders. At the fronts there, behind the headlight. The casting line runs across the back, quarter panels over the deck lid, all around the windows, engine compartment, the firewall, the usual. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what a 55 Chevrolet looks like with all the goofy stuff scrubbed off of it. It's just about ready for primer and paint. And if you close your eyes, or squint your eyes anyway, and imagine without them copper wheels on there, and maybe with a blower sticking up over the fenders, you get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's done. Arts and crafts time again on the channel. This time, 55 Chevy's chassis. I've already painted it blacked it out. I had to narrow up the front for wheels. I've got the rear wheels on it. That's what we'll be using. The drive shaft is in, and we're going to start picking out some detail. The transmission in this case, and work the ladder bars. Now, you see me doing the 55 here. The video for this car got started right about the time as another car, and this really wasn't going to be what you were going to see this week, which this is going to drop. Oh, what are we going to be? It'd be May 2nd, Saturday, May 2nd. This was not supposed to be. When I started working on this car, it was going to be a longer term project. I had some other things in mind for it. And the car that I was working on, I keep running into this stuff, where I can't get parts, and it's because of our situation with what. This really isn't a big deal. I mean, I understand the guy that I get paint from here in town has a business to run, and right now he cannot run it, and some dork, putting 64 scale Hot Wheels together is make him essential. So
The paint that I needed for the other car I could not get, and this is today as we're watching, or as I'm recording this. Today is Wednesday the 29th, so I had to turn this car around inside of a couple days here to build it. And as of Wednesday, we still have the bodies being painted. I've got a list over here of everything I'm working on. There's about 14-15 things left on it, where I've got the engine stuff going inside, details to do, details to paint on the chassis, clear coat we get left yet, all the detail on the body, headlights, taillights, window trim, blah blah blah. So now this car is going to be put together. Keep this in mind when you see this, that this is pretty much a 3-day build, and I hate running around like this, rushing around. I just hate doing it. And at one time I was ahead on builds and I had some in the can and I thought, this is nice, you know. And then life happens and time ate those up real quick. So work on these ladder bars here. I think what I'll do is I'll cut away here and we'll come back. Come back here and see what else is going on besides this garbage. See what else we can get done this evening. And by the magic of the on and off button, we've got the ladder bars done, the transmission and the back side of the oil pan, and then that moon tank that sits up on front of the 55 Chevy. So now we'll wait for paint to dry. The body, the interior tub, stuff on the chassis. I'm pretty much stuck for a little bit, so again, by the magic of the on-off button. And we're back. So we got the interior tub. It's dry. We painted a few things. I did those seats in a blue. The body's going to be blue. We've got our tack up there on the dash. Cut that motor out and did the base in a flat aluminum, and the headers in white. We've opened up the headers like always. Grill shell in the Malto chrome, and inside of the grill's blacked out. We got the rear bumper in a flat aluminum, looks like a fiberglass piece. So we've got this is ready to go at some more with some more detail. And the body is I need a little touch up on it, and I gotta get it clear coated. So yeah, that's about it. Alrighty guys, our 55 Chevy's looking better. Engine for this one, I never liked the engines that they put in these things. So the first car I did, I had chopped it off, left it so the bottom end of the motor set in the interior tub to use the fender well headers, and then cut a what was a die-cast Hemi below the valve covers and set it in there with a blower and stuff on. So this time we're going to use this cobbled up abomination over here as 3 different pieces: the Hemi, the blower, and the blower hat. The blower drive I made. This pretty much used up Hemi was cobbled up and put in a 32 Ford, which I did on the channel a while back. So the person who bought the 32 Ford had me put in a 3D printed flathead with a supercharger on it, which left this motor dangling in the wind. So I've done the same thing in this car. We've cut the interior tub just above the headers, right about where the cylinder heads would be. Cut this below the right below the valve cover line, and set it in. It's still going to sit a little bit high, but the other motor did actually too with the blower on it.
So it's going to sit a little high in there, but it's going to be, oh, there, finally, oh, it kind of focused. There. At any rate, this is the motor. This is the engine for the 55 Chevrolet. Okay, so our parts laid out here before we assemble it. The base with the M2 wheels in it. I'll lay those axles in there. The back fit right in where the stock axle goes without a problem. I'll put a couple tabs right in here to hold it, just like the front. There's a couple tabs down in there to hold that front axle. We'll give them a little black paint before it goes together. Rolls fine. It's got a good stance to it. Our engine that I just showed you, the cobbled up Hemi, it's ready to do service again. Our interior tub, there's the base of the engine in flat aluminum, the headers, seats. We got our tachometer in there, the rear bumper done in a flat aluminum with a little clear coat on it, and then our grill shell chromed out in the black center section, the black grill piece. The body in a blue metallic. Get a little idea of the metallic in it. Had it outside. Unfortunately, this is Ohio. The sun comes and goes every 3 or 4 minutes. And our glass. Alrighty, guys. So our 55 Chevy wasn't the pick of the week, and you can't really, I mean, you could get mad, I guess, when things are closed and you can't get parts and paint that you need, things like that, but it's not going to do any good. So I went after the next one in line, which was this car, and the 55 Chevy was something that I wanted to build in 3 weeks or so, and not 3 days. So the car doesn't have as much as I wanted to do to it, but I think in all in all, in 3 days, it come out pretty nice, really. The Hemi that we're looking at up front, if it looks familiar to you, it's because it was in a 32 Ford that I built last year. That car, when it got sold, the owner wanted a 3D printed flathead with a small supercharger on it. Took the motor out, and then I don't like the engines in these at all, in these 55 Chevys. It looks just cheap. So I cut it out, leaving the bottom part of the motor with the fender well headers on it to use, because I do like the way those fender well headers sit in there, and if you drill out the ends, they don't look too shabby. So we put the Hemi together, and that's 3 different pieces. The Hemi, the basic part with the valve covers, the blower, and then the blower hat. The drive is something that I made. It's pretty much a transplant. Besides touching up the paint on a little bit, it's rough. It's a direct transplant from the 32 Ford into the 55 Chevy. So paint was also a blue color that we had here. The wheels were wheels that were here. This was something that was put together out of a parts bin in 3 days. The paint leaves a lot to be desired in the inside light, and I tried to take it outside earlier. Unfortunately, in Ohio, the sun comes out and then it hides again real fast. So the paint, I think, gives a good period like 60s gasser look, and it's got enough sparkle in there where it's not slapping you in the face, but it looks good. Same with the wheels, M2s, skinnies up front, bigger ones in the back. It's a period wheel. So start up front, the moon tank up there, headlight turn signal detail. When the copper was pulled off that interior tub, we did the grill shell in a chrome and then blacked out the inside. Then there's our Hemi wired up in there. Did the radiator up to look like a aluminum piece. It's hard to see the on the passenger side, the heater blower motor's black. We've got a updated, like a modern brake master cylinder. Those wheels, just focus there. It gives a good look. Just the door handles on the side, not a lot of trim or anything. No decals, no flames, no stripes, no, 3 tones of different paint. The only thing I wish maybe I would have put was maybe a little rubber burned up on the quarters. We saw the interior with just a darker blue on the seat. There's our tail lights. The rear bumper is just a flat aluminum with clear coat shot over it to look like a fiberglass piece. Up around the, see if that lets that focus, up around the driver's side there, same thing. The blue tinted glass, lately blue tinted glass, actually worked out pretty good with this color. Sometimes that tinted glass can really make you want to pull your hair out. In the Hemi in there, I was thinking maybe it looked a little too tall. I guess it's okay. The blower head is an injector stack there. It's sitting up about roof height, but it looks okay, I guess. Hey, if it doesn't, I mean, what am I gonna do? It's done, right? Too late for bitching. Underneath, got our ladder bars, a drive shaft, transmission detail. Again, we've got the headers opened up. So pretty clean under there, done in just a basic black. Blacked out the inner fenders on the back of it. All in all, for 3 days, I think, hell, it takes 3 days for the paint to dry properly. Well, not even properly, because if you really pressed down on this the other day, the base before the clear went on, it was still soft enough you'd leave a fingerprint on it. So I really appreciate everyone for checking out the videos. Our subscription number is steadily climbing. I know after we do the 3 blind mice builds and that, there seems to be people that find us probably through that. I want to say there's more people at home watching videos. I certainly appreciate everyone. I know this is not easy. It's just that. It's just not easy. And I have to watch my mouth about how I talk about this stuff. But I really do appreciate everyone that subscribes. If you dig it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the button. What the heck? What do you got to lose? This car, just like the rest, sold on eBay. The money goes right back into the hobby here. The seller name is 17 Stacy. That's my wife's seller thing we sell on eBay. So 17 Stacy. Put the car up, and upcoming, we've got all kinds of stuff to look forward to. Next month's 3 Blind Mice build is a 66 Nova. We've got at the end of May a 64 Impala build with a couple of the 3 Blind Mice and a couple other guys. So I think there's 5 or 6 guys building all together. Our take on a 64 Impala. And what else have we got? We've got Redline Day coming up May 18th. That is put on by Diecast Outcast. And oh boy, it seems like there's something else I'm forgetting too. But with any luck, next week, the car that should have been here this week will be done. And so we'll have something cool to show you then. And until then, guys, please stay safe. And again, thank you so much. We will see you in the next one.